Hello viewers, Super GT here with another kart racing video. So I've loaded up on eggs in the morning for breakfast. I basically have no excuse for losing now, as eggs are obviously the rich energy of the food world. So let's screw on that fuel cap. It's not very advisable to leave the fuel cap off unless you want a crotch full of fuel, and let me tell you, it burns. It's not a pleasant experience. From experience. Yes, it's happened a few times. So, in today's video, you're going to see 4 races, 3 heats, which then determine your position on the grid for the final at the end. And, of course, the first heat, obviously, is at the start of the video. And we're going to be starting in 12th for this one, 12th position. And we saw, or you may have saw, if you watched the previous video at Red Lodge, it's a very tight and twisty circuit, very difficult to overtake around. It gets very, very cozy through the first couple of corners, and we're going to see that here. Immediately try to get to the left-hand side, and that helps. I go from 12th to 8th, but through the right-hander, it goes back in the other people's favour, so it doesn't really help me there. Into this tightening section here, and, well, the stewards are not happy. They've slammed a 5-second slowdown penalty. That's actually just a joke. We don't actually take that dead seriously. But if you go back and watch that in slow motion, or normal motion if you want, you can see that I just went into the back of the cart ahead and it just triggered that chain of events. And we've got rid of the slowdown penalty. Basically going into the slow corner, got rid of it. It's a bit like Red Bull Ring Turn 2. They need to patch that out of the game. But we've found ourselves up in 7th, courtesy of all of that, and the top 1, 2, 3, 4 are already quite a long way ahead. The top 2 especially, well, we just need to get our head down basically. I mean, at this point I don't know if I got a penalty. It didn't come up at the start gantry. I didn't see one. I was sort of expecting it, but at the same time I think they do allow that at the start of a race. It does get very close, and sometimes it's really difficult for people to avoid accidents, but that's the way it goes on this occasion. So up in 6th place on lap number 2, there's quite a big gap formed already, and you can see the people that can start at the front and can scamper away quite quickly can get quite a big gap. The space just opens up here on the left hand side as we cross the line at the end of lap 2. Just wonder if that guy's seen me. He has. So we can take the position up the inside and go up into 5th, using all that curb, all of the concrete that's available. In fact, they moved the tyre wall away just to give you more space through there. So no 5-second penalties for cutting there. And basically here it's just a matter of trying to close down that gap. Quite a big gap, but you never know. You just have to put the laps in, just race as quickly as you possibly can and just hope that it's enough. Maybe the guys ahead will start fighting or making mistakes. And this is the situation at the end of lap number 8. So you can see the gap has come down. I haven't really gained on the leaders so much, but the guys in 3rd and 4th I have. So on the final lap, I'm just really trying to put myself into a position to maybe get a pass at the end of this final lap. If I can do that, then maybe gain a position. That'll most certainly help in determining the grids for that final, but it doesn't look as though I'm really that close. Still got half a lap left to go, so you're coming up to a very long left-hander. You can take this flat out, and then it tightens up right at the end here before you sweep back to the right. This right-hander's flat out because you're already going quite slow from the left, and then you're coming down towards the final corner. So it's not going to be enough on this occasion. It's going to be a 5th place as we round out the final corner and the race with, well, a minor discretion, major discretion through the first lap. So that's the first race. We got up to 5th from 12th, courtesy of some R4M tactics, inadvertently, but that's the way it goes. Okay, we move on to heat number 2. This time we're going to be starting a little bit further up, so a lot of you may be wondering how the grid's determined. It's just 3 random grids. One roughly near the front, one near the middle, one at the back, and your average is the same as everyone else. So it is fair. Over the course of a season it's very fair. Sometimes you get more on the inside, sometimes more on the outside, but around this track you definitely want to be on the inside. Now the pole man went quite early here, so the guy on 4th place didn't really get off the line very well. Started 5th officially, but immediately go to 4th as we start the race, and then up to 3rd by overtaking that guy who went quite wide. So up to 3rd position already. Richard Allen, a very fast driver at the front, so ideally I need to try and get past as quickly as possible before he gets a big gap. I've got the outside line here. I am marginally ahead going in, and it's a matter of trying to take the fastest line through. I'm going to just move to the left hand side to deter this guy from going up the inside, and he does back out. So we move up into 2nd place with, again, 9 laps in this race, so 8 laps to go. Just going to try and hunt him down, and you can see already just how big a gap Richard has got just by really being at the front. And well, he's smashed that tyre wall out of the way there, and that is going to be a penalty, and that one was quite clear. So I know at this point that actually I could just sit behind him, finish in 2nd, and then he'll get demoted because of that tyre wall contact. But really, you don't really want to kind of sit behind people. It's always better to try to get in front, just in case something goes wrong. You want to be as far forward as possible. So again, just trying to gain as much as we can. Coming up the back straight towards the long left-hander. There's a big cone there in the middle, kind of your apex point. It's almost like Gran Turismo, where you can turn the cone assist on and it tells you where to apex. So closing in here for sure at the end of lap number 2. Are we going to be able to go for this move? Now, one of the 2 overtaking opportunities on this lap is turn 1 really, but this is turn 1 here I suppose, and then opens up here to turn 2, the hairpin. And the space opened up on the inside, just sensing up the inside, and we take the lead for the first time in heat number 2 on the 3rd lap. So now, once you take the lead, it's a matter of just trying to build a gap so that the guy you've just overtaken can't overtake you back. And we're going to do that there by taking a nice middle sector through the lap into this final sector once again. And we're going to get through here okay. Taking quite a narrow line. I wasn't quite sure on the line through there. I feel like that was okay. Didn't want to go too wide going in. But that was that race pretty much sorted. This is lap number 9 now. So not really much else happened over the course of that one. It's going to be a comfortable victory from 5th on the grid, and we've had therefore a 1st and a 5th so far. In the next race we're going to be starting 10th, so anything in the top 5 I think would be a good result from there, but we'll see how it goes. Well done, mate.
Right, we are now to heat number 7.
Okay, here we are then. The rolling up formation laps for race number 3. So from 12th I got up to 5th. If I can get from 10th maybe to 3rd, going up 7 positions again, then that would be an okay result. Let's see if we can do it. So going up to the line, again, need to move to the left as quickly as possible. And thankfully here, the guy on the inside kind of just drifts wide. This is something you have to be really important of, and here 3 people spin very wide. So I've gone up 3 positions twice, up 6 on this first part of the lap. Moses definitely making a big appearance there, making his presence known here at Red Lodge turns 1 and 2. Going up from 10th to 4th, as this guy gets a little bit sideways coming out of this turn, or through the turn, and then it gives him a poor exit up the back straight. That's going to give me the inside line for this left-hander. We can take 3rd position. So that first lap there, or the first couple of corners, definitely a case of people not having their tyres completely warm, so they turn into that first corner, complete understeer, they drift wide, and you can take advantage of that by kind of ducking underneath them on the way out of the corner. So we've done that. Nicely up to 3rd. Are we going to be able to overtake coming into the first corner, or is he going to go defensive? He goes defensive. So you see here just how easy it is around this circuit. If you can just block that corner and block the left-hander at the far end, then it's actually very hard for someone to overtake, which is why we call it the Monaco of Club 100, basically because of how hard it is to overtake. I mean, I know Anwar actually in the Sprint 60 defended for half an hour. You can actually defend for a half an hour race around here. Let's say you have a slow car and the guy behind is in a quicker car, he's a bit faster than you. You can realistically defend for half an hour. It's actually that crazy. But on this occasion, we've moved up to second. Can we get the lead on lap number 3? So that's a really good start, to be fair. And from 10th on the grid at Red Lodge, a track as tight and twisty as this one, I'm not really expecting to get through to a win. Things do need to go your way. You really do need to get a bit of luck, and I think I've had that here in this race and this round so far. But we're going to try to get the lead here. Yellow flag being waved, so we can't actually go for a pass now. So you have to respect that, no overtaking. So once we've passed the incident and you can overtake, space maybe was there, would have been a bit of a strong move, so we stay behind for now. But this is where we engage nitrous oxide boosters. Look at this. This car was an absolute missile. It was unreal in terms of pace. And I've just gone easily past him, almost run over some Marshall. But this car, honestly, was absolutely ballistic. It was like I was Paul Walker and I just pressed the N2O button and it's got an extra 1,000,000 horsepower. So went flying past him. But this is the thing, it's arrive and drive karting. Not all the karts are going to be exactly the same. Some of them are going to be a tiny bit faster, some of them will be a tiny bit slower. You just have to make the most of when you get the faster ones. And this is definitely one of those faster ones. So making the most of it, up into the lead. We've got back marker here. Back markers aren't ghosted in real life, but fortunately for us, he's just pulled over to the right hand side to let everyone go. So that does help. Now this is the end of the race, lap 9 of 9 once again. So from getting into the lead, it was quite a lonely race. Managed to hold off everyone and build a gap. So another win, so a first, and a 5th. That determines the grid for the final. And on this occasion, it's going to be a 3rd. Joe Holmes got a first, 4th. Anwar got something, what was it, a first, second? Something that equals a first, 4th. Anyway, Anwar's on pole, Joe's on 2nd, I'm in 3rd. So, let's see how this one goes. Away from the grid we go, trying to warm up the kart, of course. Warm up the tyres, warm up the engine, and determine how good this kart is. That's pretty much what you're trying to do here on this 3-minute warming up session. I kind of worked out quite quickly that that kart wasn't all that great. I thought it didn't really feel good out of the slow corners, and there are a lot of slow corners here, so I felt like we should change it. You want to be as quick as possible here, because the longer you take to change over all your stuff to the other kart, the less time you have to warm up your kart. So you want to be quick here. Transponder, number plate, weights, you have to change all of that. Like I've got some helping hands here to do that, to assist me with that changeover process. So we jump back into the second kart and just hope that this one's better. So it is pretty much a lottery. You could get a worse kart, you could get a better one, but we'll see exactly how it is. So jumping back out onto the track, trying to warm it up once again. Look at that, unreal tyre warming skills. Basically on par with an F1 tyre blanket, that basically the same thing. So eventually we've got the car warmed up. We're starting 3rd here. Now Joe's in quite a bad position there on the right hand side in 2nd because, well, he's on the outside for a start and he's not on the pole side. The pole man can determine the pace over the line. So I'm in quite a good position here, being in 3rd. I should be able to get into 2nd, really. But Joe just pulls off a really good trick. He just gets a slingshot essentially. He's not allowed to cross the line before Anwar, but he just about got over the line just after. And he actually gets around the outside straight up into the lead from 2nd. Normally around this track, you go from 2nd down to about 5th because you're on the outside and you've got a long left into a long hairpin. But he's absolutely murdered everyone there by going around the outside up into the lead. And we're going to try and settle down into this race as quickly as possible. We've got Adam right on our tail, trying to defend from him. Already the gaps have opened up quite quickly. You see that? That seems to be a trend of this track, where the gaps just open up quite a lot in this first lap. I did feel as though this car was slightly better in terms of its acceleration. but we're going to see if it's really good enough over the course of this race. So Joe already beginning to stretch clear and into first corner, going slightly defensive as we have someone for company. No, there's no external cameras for this one. This wasn't a live streamed race. All the super final rounds are done this year, so it's just from now on it's going to be just my camera footage, so no external shots. So there is someone right behind me, you can't see that, but there is, you just have to trust me on that one. As we come into the long left, just trying to keep up with Anwar at this point. It looks like Joe's really gone clear as we end lap number 2, coming into the final corner. It's a very nice corner, that. Really enjoyed the entry. You kind of have to slide it over the curb and then get friendly with the curb on the left hander as well, and on the exit, but being careful of course of the tyre that's on the exit. Coming through the right hander again, just maximising the curb. They allow it, so in the driver's briefing they essentially say what you can and can't do. So if it looks like we're cheating, we're not, because they just said just use that curb. So if they say you can use it, then you might as well use it. And on the exit there, you can use quite a lot of concrete as well. So, okay, lap 3, things are just spreading out essentially, and it's just getting harder and harder. The gap's getting bigger and bigger from myself to second and from myself to the lead. So in this sense I'm actually going backwards, you could say. Still in third though, and by this point here I kind of realised that it's just going to be really hard to keep up and try to go for second or even the win. It's not really going to be possible. I think the fact that Joe managed to get into the lead instantly from the start probably changed this race quite a lot. Because I'm just thinking that if he was behind Anwar, there may well have been a lot more defending, and therefore the race would have been very different. But as it stands here, it's one of those races which just comes down to outright speed. Everyone's in clear air. So I mean, third's still not a bad place. We're in a 26 kart race, so I'm still up the sharp end. It's always good to be at the front, but not quite the exact front on this occasion. And we're going to skip to lap 14 here, because most of these laps were kind of just, well, a stalemate. Nothing really happened. You see the gap from myself to Anwar kind of stabilised at about a second. Joe's long gone. He's about 8 years in the future. He's already in the year 2027 or something. He's that far ahead. So Anwar, the next target, but then again, you know, he's just been driving away, and the gap's been remaining fairly constant. I just have not been able to catch up with him. I still have Adam Wright for company immediately behind, so just checking over my shoulder. I went defensive into turn 1 3 or 4 times over the course of the race just to make sure he didn't go for that move. And sometimes in these races, you know, you just have to just kind of work out what this race is going to be like. And on this occasion, it was just going to be one of those races where I'm not going to be able to gain on the guys in front. It's just about defending and keeping the position I've got. And on this occasion I did that. I stayed third, I started third, I stayed third. So I suppose it could be worse. There's Joe, the winner of the race. Very, very dominant, ran away with it. But that is it for today. So there's going to be one more round of Club 100 this year, which is going to be November 9th and 10th. So do look out for that one. Thank you as always for watching. Well done for making it this far into the video. And well, thank you so much for watching. Do leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. I shall see you next time. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Hello, mate.
Well, basically, Joe got into Costa's super final kart, and I was left hand still. Basically. Well, I'm man.
Right straight away.
I tried to hang on into turn 2, but
I just got offline really well, and I thought I need to get past you here, otherwise you're just going to white line it.
I was going to be honest. You've got to take.
Sorry, mate. What a
Well defended, mate. You had no. Your car was shit, mate.
Yeah.
Men did it.
Bottom end.
Bottom end was
Didn't have it.
Yeah, he didn't have it.